to Bonus Stage, the show where a game collector on a budget finds what's worth grabbing from the bargain bins at thrift stores around town. I'm your ever-present, non-stop talking host, Scott, and welcome here to Wait, What? Here on Bonus Stage, we're going to set a few guidelines, just to keep the playing field evened. First off, no plug-and-play games. Those little doodads you see at the retailer that play 1 or 2 games only and rival the Atari 5200 for bad controls are the bane of my existence. We will not be touching those. Next up, no yearly sports games. Listen, we all love Madden, and I'm a sucker for MVP baseball, but most year-to-year changes are just minor. I see tons of copies of older sports games every time I visit a thrift store, so at least this way, we keep the variety going strong here. And finally, it's gotta be something I don't own already. I've got a pretty small collection, but this keeps us from diving into an easy-to-know game like, Super Mario Bros. Or Sonic the Hedgehog. I'm looking to find some true treasures among the trash. And now, on with the show. Today's adventure brings us to my neck of the woods in Orange, Connecticut, hometown of my favorite thrift store, Savers. This location supports the good folks at Big Brothers Big Sisters of Southwestern Connecticut, so I highly suggest donating or dropping by to see the changing stock. Some eagle-eyed visitors might realize that this Savers is actually located in an old Circuit City. Remember those? We're getting old. Still, it's a great store and a heck of a selection. Let's go grab a game. Not a big selection on the game racks today, and I'm not really sure I want to Dance Dance Revolution just yet and embarrass myself. Aggressive Inline. Can't say I've ever even heard of this game, but boy does it look like a Tony Hawk Pro Skater ripoff. And only $2.99? I'm in. Hell, I'm even going to grab this Game Gear game just because. So, we're back here in the lab, and let's get some facts before we dive into this extreme sports game. Aggressive Inline was published by Acclaim Entertainment in 2002, and developed by the team at Z-Axis, who's best known for developing the Dave Mirra Freestyle BMX series of games. This game, surprisingly to me, came out on all the major consoles at the time: Nintendo GameCube, Microsoft's Xbox, and the Sony PlayStation 2. Hell, they even made a version for the Game Boy Advance. Although that's nothing like this, apparently, because it was made by a completely different company, but that's still pretty cool. And here's my biggest shock so far. The reviews from 2002 are good. I mean, really good. IGN gave this a 9.1 out of 10, and GameSpot was right there with an 8.8. So, I mean, I did it! On my first try, we've escaped the turd nuggets and found something worth a damn. Woo!
No, you mother...
Was that an homage to Office Space? Because if it was, I mean, they went a little overboard and I kind of love it. But still, that was something. On to the game. After the game's weird intro screen, you're greeted by the unmistakable sounds of Hoobastanks crawling in the dark, which we're not including so we don't get content ID'd to hell. Hey, YouTube. Anyway, the game's soundtrack is actually something pretty good. I mean, I wasn't expecting much, but it's a who's who of pretty big alternative rock names in the early 2000s. The Ataris, Real Big Fish, POD, Saliva. That's pretty rad and feels a lot like the Tony Hawk games that introduced my generation to a ton of bands. I dove right into career mode, which, well, starts you off in tutorial mode. But this is pretty great for someone who has no clue what they're doing with a controller here. Like me. It takes you through the basics and lets you skip around if you want to practice some stuff that you might suck at, explaining it in pretty good detail and how it'll actually help you in the game, scoring-wise. That's pretty great. It's a pretty cool feature, so hey, gaming companies, take note. We want that. Once you hit the actual levels, any extreme sports game fan is going to feel right at home. The levels are detailed with a ton of interactive elements, including vehicles, NPCs, buildings with breakaways, and more. Just on the first stage here, called Movie Lot, it feels like at least 3 different stages with how much variation they put into it. Finally, after doing some research on this game, I realized we owe a lot to Aggressive Inline for today's extreme sports video games. They standardized an easier combination system, allowing for more cool moves to be pulled off without issue, and they broke away from the timed limits on stages, which were a real pain in the ass on the original Tony Hawk Pro Skater. Trust me, a younger Scott got very angry about this. So we've reached the time for my final verdict. Is Aggressive Inline worth it? I certainly intend on spending a ton more time playing this game once I reacquire a memory card for my GameCube. And at $2.99 at my local Savers, it was a complete steal. Prices online for this game I've seen nearly going for at least about $3.99 and above on Amazon, and those are just acceptable. This was a very good condition, and I mean, hell, it still had the booklet inside. That's rare. But anything under $5 for a used game of this quality is worth it. If you can find a brand new version of Aggressive Inline for less than $25, definitely pick it up. It's a fun game, and it's a fun addition to any collection, and it's worth bringing out to show a friend or two who has never heard of it. Like yours truly. Now, thanks again for tuning into our first episode here. What's your favorite extreme sports game? Let us know in the comments. I'd love to hear what you guys have to say. I mean, my personal favorite was Tony Hawk Pro Skater, but I may have a new favorite after this. If you enjoyed the video, you know the deal. Hit the like button, subscribe for more videos coming soon, and hit the bell so you're notified when those new episodes drop. Thanks again, and we'll see you guys next time right here on Bonus Stage.